Welcome everyone to the channel. So we are here today to bring you some marvelous heresy in the world of Warhammer 40,000. We're going to be playing...
Ideally, it won't be heretical this time.
We all know that that's not going to happen.
I'm going to try.
So, we're here to record our role-playing sessions. We're going to be doing a bit of Rogue Trader, which is one of the 5 different role-playing systems published by Fantasy Flight Games.
It's going
to right there.
It's going to be flagged and taken down for copyright. Thank you, Captain.
Damn it, Games Workshop.
We will take that out in post-production. Don't you worry.
Now, I do have to say, we are playing Rogue Trader, but this is going to foray into Black Crusade real fast.
Yes. It always does. It always does.
System.
Well, I will give it over to the GM now, who's going to explain the campaign, where we're going, what we're doing. Take it away.
Okay, so my name is Kenneth. I usually go by Kythal as a GM tag. Regardless, this is one of several games within the 40k Fantasy Flight RP settings I've done. In particular, we're doing Rogue Trader at this moment. And Rogue Trader is normally a game of merchant princes, their officers, family members, all vying for riches and power. And the name of this campaign, more or less, is Fydae, referring to the Fydae Great Cloud, which is an area not covered by any of the RP books, which is trailing the Sector Calixtus. And as a unexplored region with no Imperial presence and rumors of death and desolation, of course that's where I have to send my players. So that's where we're voyaging with House Morley, a not exactly new, but definitely novice dynasty. And I will move it over to my captain.
Hello, my name is Errol. I'm playing Lord Captain Raver Morley, who is undoubtedly, it's going to be one of the more interesting rogue traders to apply the stars as. So he's an upjumped, what we'll call a scapegrace, or also known as like an underhive beggar, if anyone knows, in 40k, which is like the lowest class of people in the Imperium. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this guy, who has to lead some people who are literally from the birthplace of humanity, and are also mutants.
Don't worry about that.
And some other interesting characters who might be a little higher than what might believe themselves higher than their station. We'll see. But other than that, yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this character commands his way through.
What do you look like, Captain?
Oh, yeah, tell us a bit about the physical description.
Here's the important thing to note. He's very unremarkable. Right? So he's about 30. Right? He is very, very plain. So he's relatively short. I think it's 5'6". I made him.
Wow.
Like 5'6". He's very short.
Yeah,
which is going to be great. We're going to make him Napoleonic. And the best part. Oh, so something to note about rogue traders: you have to show the colors if you want to claim something. So you're going to literally have Napoleon stepping first off the ship with the banner of the Helmsguard onto probably a death world, knowing Kenneth. Right, so we're going to walk out into the vacuum of space, or
Hey, I was born on a death world. Those things ain't too bad.
Oh, this will be good. I'm gonna like this arch. I'm gonna like our arch militant. Yeah. So he's relatively short. He's fairly unremarkable. So think your average dark-eyed, dark-haired, blank.
So right? Anime protagonist number 5 billion.
Probably.
Okay,
right?
got it.
All boils back to he's a random Imperial citizen, right? So there's nothing particularly remarkable about him. You'll learn more. His backstory is meant to be a little MacGuffin for the crew to figure out. So I'm not going to give you too much now.
As a sidebar, the captain and the rest of the crew are all direct lineage descendants and or relatives of the last captain and officer of the Helmsguard, the Helmsguard had disappeared on its maiden voyage into the Fydae Great Cloud close to 2.5 centuries ago. Until fairly recently, it had wandered out of the Fydae Great Cloud unscathed, but with none of its crew aboard. In true Imperial fashion, this was taken to be a good omen, and the remnants of the crew, per some of the articles of the Warren of Trade itself, were then brought together to recrew the ship. This being everyone save the Navigator, our Elias Nostromo, who murdered the Navigator who was supposed to be flying the stars in a unusual, eccentric, probably not entirely honorable duel, but that's neither here nor there. Elias.
Which we don't know, right? We'll move on.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that unless you asked me.
Oh, we'll be open about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I murdered the guy.
Basically. All right, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah,
I'm the Navigator, Elias Nostromo, real name Nick. So, yeah, Elias of the House Nostromo. Nostromo House is integrally tied to the Harlock dynasty, which anyone familiar with the lore would know was mostly destroyed by Erasmus Harlock. And House Nostromo with it, because they were so closely tied. Most of them were destroyed. The house is pretty much broken. The only ones really left are the people who are still living on Terra. And that's where I'm from. I was born and raised on Holy Terra in the Navigator sector. And I basically spurned my own house, who was trying to rebuild itself, to leave and try and make my way out into the stars and accomplish something on my own. So Elias is a rather striking looking fellow. He's about 6'5", built like a brick wall. He's got a completely shaved head and a large black beard. He's kind of like tan skinned. Very, very secretive, very prone to bouts of anger, and also prone to some rather strange habits, which I'm sure you'll all see in due time.
Cool.
I'll turn it over to the Seneschal.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Jesse. I'll be playing as Isabel Cross, the Seneschal, whose role is usually more of intrigue and negotiations. My character hails from a noble house, although that is secret. Although if you guys read my backstory, there's a bit of a hint in there. And she is svelte, and at 5'7", she doesn't have an exactly imposing figure. But she's there to help when she can. And I think that's about it for Isabel. So this is the first time I'm gonna be having a RP character that's a female, because in the past all my characters were male, and every time they came across a female, bad things have happened. My dear GM and Nick, bad things have happened.
Don't blame them.
Okay, no, it's not them. It's
entirely your fault.
It's not our first rodeo, so there's that.
I would also perhaps mention the fact that Isabel isn't exactly here willingly.
Which is why you should read the backstory, Errol.
Listen, no one's got time for a 19-page backstory.
It's not 19 pages, it's just
Right.
4,000 words.
What was that? 4,000? That's too bad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's 3,290.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I'll read.
Next person.
All right, Voidmaster, Archmilitant, one of you. Do it.
I'm Jay, and I play the Voidmaster, Tristan Marchalier. So Tristan is Forge World born. He's a lithe man. He's kind of skinny but muscular. He has some scars both in his psyche and on his body. And he's up silent guy. He kind of likes to play his cards close to his chest, and he just wants to find companionship on this voyage and find someone he can devote his life to.
I believe we can now set off the Noble Bright alert. But anyway.
I'm glad.
So I have our first retcon of the game. So Nick.
Yeah.
House Nostromo isn't destroyed.
No.
No, Erasmus did his atrocity in the year 703 M41. We are in M502. We are centuries before the fall of House Nostromo. You can still be the accursed renegade you are, and that may still come to pass as you fly the stars. But as for the moment, your family still has a presence on Codis.
Ah. Cool.
That's actually fun.
Gotta love the time jumping.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's like Harlock when, which, if you're playing in the normal timeline, the time of heroes is in 815 M41,
Right.
which makes the destruction of House Nostromo and stuff relatively bygone in 703. Seeing as we're playing in 502, things get a little long.
Hasn't happened yet. All right. I'll have to take that into account.
Yeah, thankfully I don't think there's anything explicit in your backstory that really mentioned that. So, the curse of the Nostromo is going to still be in play. Archmilitant, my favorite character.
So my character's name is Nefula Nkindilim. She is the Ox Militant born upon the ice/death world of Carrick. She grew up fighting orcs, and that's what she's still primarily geared for. She's hoping to make a fortune in the Expanse and come back and take the head of an orc war boss. Specifically the one in Scaris sector, which is where she spent most of her time fighting. Met a few space marines along the way. Saved her tail a couple times. And she is tall, not quite as tall as our Navigator. She's about 6'2", with deep black skin. She often wears a long black cloak when she's not in her Enforcer carapace. She keeps her black hair in a long plait down when she's feeling relaxed. And she carries a hunting rifle, which she believes to be ancestral. It has markings of her ancestors' initials all over it. And she's a damn good shot. That's all she has to say.
Imagine that illiterate Death Worlder.
Wow. Oh, speaking of interesting items, we have I currently am in the possession of a ring from a noble house that's not mine. The ring that belongs rightfully to the House of the Guillards, which has a major presence on Piety, my home world, which I am kind of on exile from now that I'm with this crew, but hopefully far away from the Guillards. We're a bunch of assholes, wouldn't you say, Nick?
No, fine gentlemen, all of them.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wow. What a
They
surprise.
know only honor. Alright, so we've already played one session of this.
And
so we'll be
unfortunately,
picking-
unfortunately, the recording didn't go quite so well last time.
even with the plans for redundancy.
Yeah, that's entirely my fault.
Yes, as always. It
Yes.
is.
Yep.
I agree with that.
So, who wants to do a quick recap?
Anyone?
Okay. So the last time we started out kind of skipping over initial introductions. We all assumed that we had met and had been aboard the ship. And we got right down to basically planning where it was that we were going to go. We were outside of the Imperial listening post that was right on the edge of the Fydae Great Cloud. At which point we hailed them and asked to make port, which we were denied. And
the commander of the listening post, Commander Zartel,
Yeah.
at the very least, is a superstitious woman, and she wasn't very interested in giving port to a ship that had only several months prior drifted out of the cloud unharmed.
But
Fair enough. Fair enough. And our good seneschal there attempted to open negotiations and was unsuccessful. We were able to get some small bit of information out of them in that one particular system had drifted far enough out of the cloud that it was visible to sensor arrays. And after some discussion amongst the crew, we decided that that would be the most sensible location to attempt to navigate to first in order to maybe establish some kind of base of operations. At which point we pretty much just got underway.
which was a mistake.
Some would say. Some would say mistakes. Others would say a learning experience.
So things to note about the Rogue Trader system. Learning experiences are normally lethal. So it's good.
Wouldn't you say that for all of 40K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe
some of them are just like basic existence. If it's Dark Heresy, if you walk outside, you can die.
true.
This you can't.
It might still be lethal. We don't know yet.
Even
It's
if you don't walk outside,
Exactly.
you can die.
Well, we're getting to that. So we began making preparations. My navigator began his navigation ritual, which was to strap on some mag boots and a void suit, walk out to the outer hull of the ship, take off his helmet, and stare directly into the Great Cloud, which he did, and was rewarded with some nice fatigue. Great -20 to all tests. And so he began to, navigate in that state, which was going swimmingly until when we began to roll for warp encounters. Our great captain, our wonderful great captain,
Yeah. Not the luckiest guy, as you'll all find out.
rolled. What did you roll? An 86?
It was 86.
Yeah, he rolled an 86, and we're now in some deep shit.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be picking up.
Also, something to note in this system, it's a D100 system. So if anyone knows anything about role-playing games, you have a skill. Our skills are out of 100. You have to roll under your skill or under, and you succeed.
Yeah.
If you roll really high, you normally die. Like 86.
Yeah.
what we get.
High rolls are bad, low rolls are good.
Okay, so we're going to pick off. The navigator Elias had listed a travel duration of about 1 month to this nearby star system, and they translated into the warp without too much issue. As I recall, both,
I cut down that time, didn't I?
it was originally 44. We cut it down to 30.
Okay.
As I recall, our lovely captain and our Voidmaster both failed warp hallucinations and were having issues with the flesh being weak.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. We'll come back to that.
Yep.
What's that happening? We tried to rip or corrupt the skin off our flesh, right?
Yeah. You think you're being corrupted after every encounter.
Oh, yeah, yep. And I was unable to locate the Astronomicon, correct?
Yes. For the Emperor does not follow where you go.
Yeah. That's alright. He's overrated anyway.
Oh God. This is how it starts.
Yeah, we are definitely going down
I
here.
thought we said no heresy at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't
We
you
have to at
come
least
straight
give
from
him-
Terra?
Okay,
Is it?
so
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
we-
No.
I don't know what just happened.
start it
Alright,
up
anyway,
then.
so we're going to get into this. So, at the very end of the last session, the Navigator begun to, not just the Navigator, the entire ship, there was like this resonant knocking, reverberating through the hull, which the crew was already uneasy to begin with. per Seneschal Cross's inquiries. But moving past that, I'm going to need an ordinary Assignations check plus 10 from our lovely Navigator. However,
So,
your fatigue is still
net minus 10.
Yes.
Okay.
This can't be good.
Don't worry. We'll be fine.
Please. Please.
Yes, I passed.
Good. You're going to get a plus 20 navigating your way out of this issue.
Excellent.
All right. So
do I have any idea what the hell's going on?
At the moment, not really. You've applied the starlings before, but for some reason, the behavior of the warp in and around the cloud seems strange, if you can call anything in the warp strange to begin with. But you know something is awry because you start getting this head-splitting headache that's emanating from your eye itself, almost as if something's attempting to pierce you.
Ow. Stop that.
You get the sense of focus of where the pain is coming from, and I'm going to need that navigation plus 20 check as you immediately just avert the ship.
Okay, so...
Do the fatigue rules still apply to him?
Yes, they do. So
well,
just a plus 0.
yeah, they're negated by the plus 20, so it's just going to be my navigation skill plus... plus the bonus from the ship, right?
Yes. 15.
Fate point.
I got him. Okay.
Go well.
That went swimmingly.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Am I allowed to use another fate point?
You are not. The results of a second fate point test always stand.
Damn it. Okay, I rolled
All
an
right.
81 out of...
Yes! Yes!
To be fair, that is less than a degree of failure because my threshold was a 76.
Oh god. Alright.
You're
Detail on my
so
part.
good.
Oh god. Alright, so suddenly the ship comes to a grinding halt. Everyone aboard the ship knows that even though the engines are firing, the Geller field is holding. Somehow the ship has stopped moving within the Sea of Souls.
Oh my.
Alright, so Navigator, you find your vision is darkened, you are no longer navigating, and I'm going to give you guys all a moment to kind of talk amongst yourselves, trying to figure out what's going on.
Are we all in the bridge again?
No, you guys are going to be in your respective part of the ships. The only two people that would be aboard the bridge right now would be our Lord Captain and Marchelier as the helmsman.
Okay, I just made a willpower test to see whether or not I'm freaking the fuck out right now. I'm not.
That's good.
I'm okay.
Good to know.
Nervous breakdowns would be bad.
And that's even against a minus 20 willpower check, so I'm good.
So I'm going to slam the ship's comms down to the Navigator's throne and say, Nostromo, I didn't think we could possibly stop in the warp. Enlighten me here? What's the problem?
Allow me to make a Forbidden Lore warp test.
This can go badly.
I'm working on it.
You know nothing, don't know.
Helpful,
You know,
Nostromo. I'm going to turn around and start a ship-wide alert to hide in readiness amongst our crew.
Do you want to give a command check?
Let's do it! 45. So that is...
2.
let's see, a success with... It's either 1 degree or just a success with 2.
It's going to be a failure because this test is at a minus.
Minus what? Oh, it's a train skill, but never mind. But go on. What was it at a minus at?
at a -10. The crew is kind of freaking out. So your comms throughout the ship are heard but not heeded.
This is not going to go well.
Kenneth, I'm going to. Can I silent move my way to the engine room?
Sure, go for it.
Why not
Plus
just move?
10.
Plus 10. Interesting. That means there's nothing on the way.
Or
Right, guys?
arrogance. No one's
Right,
paying
guys? Right, guys? Wow, that's like 3 degrees of success. Okay.
You just appear there.
So you're going to stick through it. Does anyone else want to take any actions at the moment?
I want to just be focusing all of my mental powers to trying to figure out what's going on and how to get out of it.
Okay.
Am I getting 0 motion from the engines? Or
The engines are at full force. Even if you attempt to overheat the fusion reactors, whatever it is, it's like the ship just can't plow through what it's in.
can I try diverting course? Like going us in a different direction?
Do you want to try and move us, Helmsman?
I
it!
think I will.
Do it!
Should it be a pilot?
-20 pilot check.
-20?
Yep.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna fate point that.
As you're doing that, Marche, Nostromo, how would you feel about the helmsman moving the ship without your direction? Would that almost be insulting?
That'd be insulting. He doesn't know.
Guys, I've seen this episode before. We're in like the huge monster on an asteroid in Empire Strikes Back.
I got one.
Thankfully-
With the -20, I got 0 degrees of success, but I still pass.
Thankfully, I do not find it insulting, but I'm still going to address it because he could be very well killing us all. Helmsman, don't touch the controls. We don't know what we're dealing with right now.
As
I've
you say that, Nostromo, the ship jerks and begins moving again. Slowly, but it is. Congrats, Helmsman. You may have saved us all, actually.
May.
Now, I want to volunteer to roll a D100 for me.
Ooh, I haven't done that yet.
Please, everyone make the sign.
42.
42. That's actually fair. Oh, love the Navis Primer.
Oh,
The first number will be the amount of bloodthirsters on this ship at this moment.
Oh God.
4 bloodthirsters.
No.
GG, everyone. Reroll new characters.
GG. No read.
This is great. Everyone. All right.
Did I reach the engine room yet?
Yeah, you're in the engine room.
Anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Oh,
So in the meantime, while he's processing, I'm going to start giving commands to all of you, all of our heads of our various stations. Nathula, you're in the gunnery room, right? Is that where one of the places?
I assume that's probably where I'm situated.
Right.
I don't
so
really
I'm
have a role on the ship. I just fight things.
What was that?
I don't really have a role on the ship. I just kill things.
Yeah, well, I'll consider you our general. Right? you clearly have the highest propensity for successful violence, which is good because I'm pro-successful violence. We may not have such successful. I'm gonna vox down to you and relay to you that we're moving, but that we need gun readiness as soon as humanly possible. So, do you have knowledge of how our gun decks work, or not really? Because I know it could either be you or it could be Jay.
Yeah, I think it's probably more Jay. I don't have specific fleet defense knowledge. I'm more of a on the ground person.
Got it. So I'll tell you to prepare your crew for potential boarding up.
Sure. I'll stalk the halls and make sure everyone's back at work.
Sharpen your orc killing knife, your orc sticker, and get ready.
I use a flail.
Oh God!
Oh,
I'm excited.
wow.
It's gonna be good. When we
two-handed
signal on
flail.
someone, it's gonna be so satisfying.